Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. With this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on Episode 8 of the anime series Toaru Hikuushi no Koiuta. And it would be fair to say that the battle is still very much in full swing as we open this episode, with the trainee pilots going up against the Sky Clan, and really just, everything is going to hell in a handbasket as quickly as possible. We see that the more elite of the trainees, Fausto, the cat who's been a thorn in Kal-El's side in previous episodes, is now leading the charge for a lack of anyone else being able to, and they're really trying to create a defensive position rather than going on the offensive to try to save as many lives as possible. They have like a sort of circular formation, and they're trying to fend off the attacks. And I just find it as, someone who has been interested in the history of our world and the war history and stuff like that, historical looks back, the technologies that are going up against each other here are, it's almost like unfair, because you have the trainee pilots in their sort of helicopter-bladed airships and using muskets for the most part. I think we only see one of the trainee pilots, gunmen, using an automatic weapon like a machine gun or a Tommy gun or something like that, whereas most of them are firing muskets at these Sky Clan planes that are basically really modern technology. They all have machine gun decks and everything like that, and it's just, they're getting their asses handed to them. We see Fausto ends up dying, Wolfgang and his partner sadly die, trying to get in the way of some oncoming shots from one of these Sky Clan planes. And in the midst of this battle, you see that the Sky Clan also has sort of an elite section themselves, with these ships that have this painted-on design of silver fox heads, and these things are just destroying everything in their path. We see that, Kal-El's sister, who has been sidled with him since Claire Cruz was taken away in the last episode, she is wounded, and, you think she's not going to make it. You think she might die, and I was really on the edge of my seat during that whole sequence. Having a sister who means a lot to me, it's very relatable to be like, oh, God, I don't want to see him lose his sister and everything. And luckily, she does survive by the end of this episode, just barely, with the help of a sort of unknown benefactor in the form of a plane with a seagull painted on its side. And this plane, single-handedly, there's just the one, takes out almost the entirety of the Silver Fox forces, takes out a crap ton of the Sky Clan's regular ships and everything like that, and just completely, empties the sky of enemies so that Kal-El can manage to get home. All the while, we see that paratroopers have taken to ground attacks on Isla and some of the other trainees who are meant to guard the guns firing up at the planes and everything like that from the ground. They're very nearly killed themselves, but it turns out Claire, sees the oncoming attack, the barrage that's unfolding out her windows, and she won't have it. Elite or not, protected or not, she runs out of her mansion, and she tries to steal a Jeep. Ignacio, her bodyguard, of course, follows in tow, says he's going to bring her back, but I guess he feels some level of compassion and decides to help her, to do whatever she needs to do, get it out of her system. They head off to this, town nearby, where most of those trainees are guarding those weapons, and they're hiding down in trenches and trying to reload their musket-like weapons, afraid they are all going to die. We see from the woods, one of the paratroopers died as he, fell and landed in a tree and dropped his weapon. Claire ends up stopping the Jeep. She sees the guy, grabs his weapon, and she's about to start firing it, but Ignacio, very calmly and subdued, walks up behind her and says, you're going to dislocate your shoulder if you do it that way. You're not really cut out for this. You're like royalty. You shouldn't be picking up weapons and think you're going to fight a battle. So he takes the gun and wipes out a whole bunch of oncoming, ground sort of forces from the enemy, from the Sky Clan, so that those kids in the trenches are saved. And they just barely note that, oh my God, that's Ignacio and Claire running away after they've done the job. So it's very interesting, of course, to me that by the end of this episode, the battle has been semi-successful. They've gotten through most of the Sky Clan. One of their major fleet airships was a little late to the game, but it finally does show up and starts helping fend off the Sky Clan's forces. And even though there's a lot of damage in Isla, and, they're going to be picking up the pieces for a while now. It's good to know that basically Kal-El and his sister Ariel were able to survive just barely. Claire and Ignacio had a hand in helping those cats that were, decked out in the trenches, taking on the ground forces and everything like that. And in the end, we have this secret message that was left via message tube from this, seagull plane that came out of nowhere, a mysterious benefactor, saying that they share ideologies and mythologies about Aldista and everything like that, and they are very curious to unlock the secrets of the world, as has Isla's mission been. It's signed with the name Fana La Femme, and this can only perchance be the emperor of some as yet unknown or at least unexpected force, whether sidled with the Sky Clan or against them, set against them, remains to be seen, but it'll be interesting to see where we go from here, with everyone picking up the pieces and still trying to uncover the mysteries of this world. Who will live and who will die from this point on is anyone's guess, and it's going to be a tumultuous time for the last stretch of episodes. And otherwise, that'll be it for me on this. I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you later. Peace.